Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to the channel and leave a like on the video. 45-year-old Tammy Lynn started her weight loss journey at 591 pounds, but ended up becoming one of the biggest successes of season 6. After witnessing her father's death from a heart attack as a child and her mother's subsequent mental decline, she had begun turning to food at just 8 years old. However, thanks to Dr. Now's help, Tammy Lynn lost 179 pounds during the first 7 months and was approved for gastric sleeve surgery. Unfortunately, Tammy then found out that her husband had been cheating on her, and by the end of her update episode, she had not only lost a total of 246 pounds, a whopping 41.6% of her peak weight, but also separated from her husband. Despite a health setback following her time on the show when she was diagnosed with a degenerative bone disease, Tammy Lynn has stayed on track and feels optimistic about her future. 38-year-old Karina Garcia had already had weight loss surgery in the past, but since the gastric balloon procedure hadn't helped her lose weight, her family was a bit skeptical and not as supportive as Karina had hoped. Her weight had been an issue since her childhood when she started turning to food for comfort because, according to her, she didn't get enough attention and affection from her parents. Karina had already weighed over 100 pounds by the age of 10, and her weight had affected her overall health, so she suffered from several health issues, including a severe case of asthma. When we first met Karina, she weighed in at 633 pounds, and despite her family's doubts, she ended up turning her life around and proved them all wrong when she dropped down at 398 pounds at the end of her episode. Judging by the photos on social media, Karina has since stayed on track and managed to not only keep the weight off, but lose even more. At the beginning of her episode, Che Gilroy weighed 579 pounds and lived with her grandparents, being barely able to take care of herself. Following the death of her beloved grandmother, Che struggled to stick to her diet and instead gained weight, but eventually managed to get motivated again. On her Where Are They Now episode, Che revealed that she also struggled with being transgender and opened up a lot about wanting to live life as a woman named Lola. Coming out as a transgender was a weight lifted from her mind, and it made her so much more confident and positive that weight loss surgery had become a question of when and not if. And while she has been getting closer and closer to the 180-pound weight goal, Che also found a new job and got engaged to her new boyfriend Patrick last summer, so starting her weight loss journey ended up completely turning her life around. Before we met Chad Dean on My 600 Pound Life in Season 4, he used to be a typical long-haul truck driver and the breadwinner of his family. Unfortunately, driving a truck meant that Chad would often eat unhealthy meals on the road, and that combined with a limited physical movement meant that Chad eventually became so big that he was no longer able to do his job because he couldn't fit in his truck anymore. At the beginning of his episode, Chad weighed in at an incredible 701 pounds and was completely dependent on his wife and kids to take care of him. While the family also struggled to make ends meet because the only income Chad had now was from his disability checks, which was less than half of his earnings as a truck driver. His wife eventually became so worried that Chad's body would give out sooner rather than later that she sent a tape to My 600 Pound Life and managed to get her husband on the show. Being accepted into Dr. Now's weight loss program, Chad finally realized how far things had come, and he became extremely motivated to change his life in order to be the best version of himself for his family. After being close to dying at the beginning of the episode, Chad managed to lose more than half of his initial body weight and had dropped down to 278 pounds by the end of his second update episode. Season 4's Gideon started his weight loss journey at 650 pounds and had to rely on his wife Kaylee and their son Johnny to take care of him. Though Gideon was very motivated and his weight loss was steady, he struggled a lot post-surgery. Having food as his coping mechanism taken away from him, Gideon became depressed. Thanks to therapy, he got through this tough time, however, and by the end of the episode, he was down to 429 pounds. He continued losing weight even after filming this episode had wrapped, and things got even better when he and his wife Kaylee welcomed their baby girl Frankie in September 2017. However, in early 2019, Gideon was hospitalized after collapsing at his workplace, and for the first few days of his day at the hospitals, doctors had a hard time figuring out what was bothering him. Evidence of internal bleeding led to more concern, and according to Kylie's update on Facebook, things were made even worse by the fact that the hospital staff was overworked. Neither Kaylee nor Gideon have since revealed the exact cause of his hospitalization, with Kaylee only saying that an EKG found that nothing was wrong with Gideon's heart. But he was back home a couple of months later, and judging by recent social media posts, he seems to be in good health, enjoying life together with his family. That will wrap up today's video, guys. Thank you for watching, and we will see y'all next time.